When things don't go our way, or when something happens that we consider to be a bad thing, we can sometimes become annoyed or upset. Once time has passed and we have the benefit of perspective, however, we often find out later that it wasn't such a bad thing after all. Once, while working as a consultant out of my home office, the internet went out right in the middle of a huge project. I thought it was the end of the world rather than just an annoyance, and I worried and stressed myself silly, spent hours finding a new router, and then waited impatiently for an IT guy to install it. When all was said and done, however, I found something I hadn't expected. I now had much better internet coverage throughout my entire house. Later that night, my wife and I processed this experience, and we realized that what at first seemed to be a disaster turned out to be a blessing in disguise. My wife looked at me and said, maybe having the internet go out wasn't such a bad thing after all. From that experience, we came up with a saying we now use whenever something unexpected or what we used to consider bad comes up. We simply look at the situation and ask ourselves, is that a bad thing? Meeting so-called problems or situations with this new awareness and attitude will transform your life. Now, when something breaks, goes out, or doesn't go the way we planned, and it could be a small thing like the faucet leaking, or a bigger thing like a vacation being canceled, we instantly ask, is that a bad thing? Then we shift our attention and begin looking for the ways the situation can be improved, or search for new opportunities that might go even better for us. When we do, we often find better upgrades for what we had, or newer, improved ways of doing what we had planned. After doing this now for years, we've discovered that just because something doesn't go the way we thought it should, it doesn't mean that it didn't go the best way it could. Everyone has experiences like this, and I'm sure you can think back to earlier disappointments that, in the end, turned out to be a good thing as well. By adopting this new attitude, you will discover a much better way of dealing with the inevitable changes life presents you with. By developing the habit of asking, is that a bad thing? You'll be able to see past the obstacles that used to frustrate you and make you unhappy. Plus, you'll now be on the lookout for better ways to improve your life and your life experience.